Hello friends, welcome back to Geeky Sanjay. Today we are going to learn how to build payment microservices with Razorpay integration. Let's get started. What is the microservices? So microservices means the small applications, like whenever you have to use the authentication, you just create a small application for the authentication, and that small application only has the responsibility to authenticate the user. Same we are creating a payment microservices. So what is inside of this application? Whenever someone calls a payment, so these services serve the purpose to make the payment using the payment gateway. And we will use the Razorpay integration today with this. So why we are using this microservices? Because microservices is small and it is very fast and it will take a very minimum resource of server. Because if you know, before we are creating a monolith architecture. What is the monolith architecture? Means whenever you are creating a big application and like user and payment and all feature in one application, that called the monolith architecture. Okay, but nowadays everybody is using the microservices because it is very easy to call and share to other it can share in other application also. So let's get started. So you can see we are just creating a payment microservices with Razorpay integration. So I have created a document here. I will guide you step by step process how we can create it. I already coded for this and I have created a very handy document which you can follow and do it very easily. So first we will understand. So as you can see, we have a flow here. Simple flow we can follow here. What will happen? The user request interact with our services, payment services first, then payment services call the payment gateway to generate the link. So whenever user first hit checkout button after order, it will call our payment services and this payment services call to the gateway to generate the link. Whenever it generates the link, it will return to the payment services and the payment services will show you the form. So whenever you are clicking on the checkout, you see one form. So that form is not part of our application, that is the part of the payment services. After that, whenever we fill the detail, so whenever we are filling the detail, that time we are not filling detail in our application, we are filling details on payment gateway application. Okay, and then we will submit. Whenever we are submitting, we already set a one callback there. That callback, whenever it's called, it will send the status of the payment, and the UI guy or front end guy take that and simply again call our services, payment services, to check the status of the payment, it is successful or it is rejected. So this is complete flow you can see here. Next, what we will do, first we will create, because I told you this is a small application, so first we will create a package for this, and for creating a package we have a Spring Boot initializer. So we will use start.Spring Boot initializer. Here we have a Spring Boot initializer. Here we have a project where we will select Maven, then we have a languages Java, then Spring Boot site 3.2.5. Then project data we will put it here, payment services, artifacts name. What are these fields? I already explained in my authentication series. So I will link that authentication series in video description. You just go there and check. There I explain in very detail. That will help you. So package type we select the jar, and then Java 17 version we use. Okay. And there are different type of multiple dependencies which we will use. So first we will use the Spring Boot. What is this Spring Boot will do? You can see in that video in detail. Okay. Next we will take a Spring configuration processor. Then next we will take a Lombard, and next we will take a Spring Data JPA, and then next we have a MySQL driver. So we will take this 6 dependency and simply we click on here generate button. It will generate a zip file that we will download on our local, and we will extract it and we will open the form.xml file in our IntelliJ. So I explain everything in very detail, like what is the why we are using this Maven, and what is this Spring Boot version, what are these artifacts, what is this Java, why we use select 17, what this simply dependency are in detail, why we are using this. You just go there in that video and see. Simply like here I already opened the project. You just click on the open and you just select your home file and click OK. It will tells you, so just select the open as a project and in this window. So I already open here, and next download the project file Spring Boot. Download the project file from Spring Boot Initializer and unzip it. Open the POM file and add the database configuration. Then add the required setting in the application.property file. And we are here in the IntelliJ, and you can see we have a folder like main and src. Here we have a target. Inside of the main you can see we have a resource, and here we have application.properties. So simply paste the data here. Okay, we have some fields here. We already given this name, and we have this URL. This is the MySQL URL which we are using, and this is our database name, and we have a username and password. This is our root username password for MySQL, and here we have some setting spring.jpa. So SQL, it will show all the query in your console for debugging purposes. Here we have written the create. So whenever you are every time run your application, it will recreate your database. And here we have a port 808. So now we have to create first the database. Next process, open MySQL Workbench or IntelliJ database and create a database name payment. Okay, we load our database here. As you know how we can create our database using the MySQL Workbench. Now if you have your ultimate version with you, idea ultimate version, then it will provide a feature to you where you can create your own database inside of your IntelliJ. For this, simply click on here, and you can select on here MySQL source, because we are using the MySQL. If you want to use other database, you just simply click on that and choose it. So here I will put the username and I will put the password, and we have a databases because I already created. If you have not created, then you simply create the database, and because I already created a database, that's why I just select from here. So I can see this database inside of this IntelliJ IDEA, and click here OK. So whenever you are adding this, so what it will do, it will install all the required plugin. Whenever you are adding resource here, so what it will do, it will install all the required plugin inside of the IntelliJ. So here you can see I already have a payment database. If you do not have this payment database, then simply right click here, click on the new and click on the schema, and you can create a new schema directly from here. So next we will go to our tutorial and we will see what is the next process. So we already created this MySQL using the IntelliJ database. Now next, create a package name controller, and within it create a payment controller. I have written all the details here. You just go there and read. I will attach the document with this video description. Simply copy this. Now you can see here simply the SRC main resources. So we will close this. Open the Java payment services payment gateway. Here we will create a controllers package. Inside of the controller we will create a payment controller, and we will paste our code whatever we copied from there, this code. So here we have post mapping payment create links, this one. Let it be, I will explain this later. So as you can see, we have a REST controller. So whenever we are creating any controller, that time we will use the REST controller, because we are just exposing our API here. And we have a payment services. So payment services we will use next, because whenever we are writing our business logic, we will write that logic inside of the services. And here you can see we have auto wire, and we did it like this inside of our constructor. Normally what we will do, copy this and we will do this auto wire like this, but this is not the right practice to do it. Simply whenever you want to do auto wire, so just create this constructor and write it down auto wire on above this constructor. Okay, so it is the same thing whatever you are doing, but this is the best practice to do it. So I am doing like this. The next we have a post mapping, because we are creating a link. So that time we have to pass something like some data. That's why we are using the post method. If you are getting something, then we will using the get. So here we are using the post mapping because we are sending some data. So there is two way to send data. Either you can send using the params, either you can send data using the body. Here we are using to send the data as a param. So as you can see, we have written here create param link, and inside we have a request param. So whenever someone sends a data after like this question mark and like query string, so it will get the data order ID, and here we are calling payment services, because we already created instance here, and payment services and create link inside of the payment services, and we are passing the order ID to it. Next, we will go back to our tutorial and we will see what is the next process. Next, create a package named services and within it create a method create link. Okay. So here we have a code inside of this. Copy this and create service package and paste this code inside of that. So here you can see we have a services and here inside of the services we have created payment gateway payment services. We have a services. So whenever we are creating a services, we will use this annotation there. We have a public class like payment services we have created. We initialize the private variable payment gateway. We just auto wire same I told you using the constructor. So I'm just doing here and I initialize the simple create link and return null. Okay. And we are calling this method inside of the controller. Now next, create the payment gateway interface in the services package within abstract method create payment link. So why we will creating this interface? Normally whenever, because we have to like use the payment gateway. So it can be a multiple. So it is not a good idea we directly like initialize payment gateway inside of our service. Like we are using the Razorpay and we will create an instance of the Razorpay. Okay. So if tomorrow we are using another payment gateway, that time it is very like it is not easy to implement the other payment gateway. That's why we are using this for the loose couple. Okay, coupled component. We are not we are using loosely coupled component. If we are directly creating the payment gateway instance inside of our services, that time it is very tightly coupled and it is very hard to integrate multiple payment gateway. Okay. So simply we will copy this code and we will create one package. Inside of the package we create this and paste it there. Here you can see we have a services. We have created a payment gateway. Inside of this we paste our code. This one. Okay, these two method I will tell you later. Next, in the payment services class, call the create payment link method. So here we will create inside of the payment services whatever we put there before, that we put simply null here. Now we have written the code and don't worry, I will explain every and each line to you what is written here. As you can see, we have a create link. So what you have to do, simply copy this link, go inside of our services file, payment services, and just remove the null and just paste it. So I have written here, make a call to order service and get the order details. So normally I'm passing order directly here, but what you do, you can create a separate service and then you create there two API there. One is for create orders and second for the get orders. That get orders we will get using the REST template. And here what we will do, we will get order based on order details based on the order, and we will show it here. Create a DTOs package and payment link request DTO. So simply what you have to do, DTOs is nothing. DTO is simple object. Whenever we have to transfer data from like one class to another class, we will use this DTOs simple object classes where we will not write any business logic. Here we just define the basic data members. Like you can see, we have a in payment link request DTO. We require this order ID, customer name, phone, amount. Okay, so we have created, simply copy here and create this DTOs package inside of this payment gateway and create payment link request DTO. Click on here, you can see we have a getter and setter. So getter setter we are using for the Lombard. So we are using all field private. Okay, we are not using the public because we do not want to expose. If you are using the public, then you don't know who is using your this fields. Okay, so whenever you are using the private, that time you are just restricting getting and setting the value, because whenever someone has to get or set value, it has to use the getter and setter. So this Lombard will provide you all the getter and setter for these fields. Next we will go inside of our payment services. So here we have created one object of the payment link request DTO and we just simply set customer name. So as you can see, we have not written any method, any setter or getter. Okay, but these two things will provide our all the getter and setters. Okay. So in the payment services, I'm setting set customer name Sanjay and the set order ID. Whatever order ID we are getting in the create link, okay, that we will put here. And how we are getting this create link order ID, if you can see in the controller. In the controller, we are calling this payment services create link order ID. So this request param, whenever someone send you the query string order ID, so whatever order ID he will send, we will get it here and we will pass to the payment services. And in the payment services, use that order ID and we will set it to this DTO. And same, we are using the set phone. Okay, so I'm just setting my phone to this DTO and the set amount we are keeping 100 to setting here. So next, create a class Razorpay gateway that implement the payment gateway interface and implement the create. So whenever we are just simply calling any services, that time there is two way to integrate with these third party services. First is make an API call, okay, and second is the client SDK code in jar. So normally whenever we are using the third party library or third party services, that time in general we are using the client SDK. So how we can take this client SDK, we will see in the next steps. So next, create a class Razorpay gateway that implements the payment gateway interface and implement the create payment link method. So first we will create a payment gateway, like we already created an interface of payment gateway, and we will create one more class to implement this. So we will create this class and copy this code and paste it there. So inside of the services file, we will just created this file, and here we have simply click, we have created we just as annotation services and the class and implemented the payment gateway. And here we just created Razorpay client. Okay, we will see what is this in the next. And here we have created create payment link. So we have implemented whatever we have written inside of this interface. So here we have one create payment link, and second we have a get status. So create payment link, what it will do, it will simply take one request DTO and it will send to the payment gateway, and payment gateway generate the link and send you back. And next we have a get status, same we will do, we will check status with the payment gateway and it will return us the status. So we will implement this both inside of Razorpay gateway. Okay. So first we have implemented this create payment link. Inside we have a payment request DTO, and we already set this payment request DTO before, and we will set all the values. So where the giant object came, we will see in our tutorial. Let's see here. I already written all the details here. So there is two way, like one API and SDK. So we will use the SDK way because it is generally used everywhere. All developer use this. So next, what we have to do, simply go to the Google and search Razorpay Java Client SDK. Okay. So whenever you click, you will get this link, GitHub Razorpay Java. This is the link which you can get it. So this is the SDK provided by the Razorpay for Java, and we have a documentation nicely written here, which we will follow, and we will implement this Razorpay inside of our payment services. Simply, he is saying add this dependency to your project home file. So with this dependency, we will get this SDK in our project. So here in our home file, I will close this all. So here we can see, here we have our home file. Inside of the home file, we will write it down here. So whenever you write it down, like copy and paste it here. So you will get one icon here. Just simply click on that icon and it will install our dependency inside of this. So after installing the dependency, we will see the next process. According to GitHub instructions uses, whatever we see in the documentation, it will tells there is two way to integrate this. First is using the private auth and second is using the access token. Okay. So we will use the first way. So what we will do, we will use this authentication way and we will generate the key and secret from the Razorpay website. Next, create a Razorpay account by signing up with Google or email based on your preference. Fill in basic details such as your name, phone number and PAN card. So whenever you are like you need a this key and the secret, that time you have to first create your account in the Razorpay, and Razorpay requires some personal detail which you have to fill there. After filling all the details, it just jump to the KYC. Okay, after completing all like PAN and everything. Okay, that time it will tells you to verify yourself by the KYC. So you just click on that KYC options, and instead of doing the KYC, just simply click on the back button. So that time it will tells you if you do you want to go in the dashboard, just click on yes and you will be on the dashboard. So that time you don't have to add the bank details and you don't have to do all the formality because we are doing this testing purpose. So you can just avoid that all KYC document. So how you can generate these keys from there? Simply to get the API key, click on the account and settings, website and app settings and API keys, create keys and copy and generate key ID. So we will see in the Razorpay website how we can generate these keys. So as you can see, we logged in the Razorpay. I told you complete your KYC. So just have to fill this all the information. You already put your basic details here. So simply click on the back button and it will tell you go to dashboard, go there and or you go there on your dashboard. So here in the left panel you can see we have a account setting, and in the account settings we simply click on this website and app settings. Inside of this you can see we have a API keys, and here I already created this. So if I create, if you do not have this key, you will get one button here, create a key. Simply click on that and you can just use that key. So whenever you create a key, it will open the pop-up and it will tells you. So just copy that key somewhere because it is only visible once in a life, and whenever the pop-up is closed, it will not there. You will not get anywhere in the dashboard. So simply copy and keep it safe. So here we have a process of API key. We already seen there. Next, go through the document, find the link for a payment link under support resource. Click on that link to access the complete documentation for multiple features. So here we have a documentation and click here on the, so here you can see we have a support resources, and inside of this we have this payment link. Click on this. You can see we have this payment link, create payment link, request standard payment link. Copy this complete object. This is the big one. Okay, and just move to the Razorpay payment gateway class and paste it there. So here inside of the services we have a Razorpay gateway. Inside of this we paste this document big object, and I will explain you what is this big object is there. So here we have, I just differentiate here, divided in multiple different objects. So first we have a JSON object, which we have a main object payment link request. Inside of the payment link request we put, okay, so whenever you have to put something in the JSON object, you have to use the put method. Here we are just giving first, this is the property and this is the value we are giving. So we are taking this payment link request DTO dot get amount. So whatever we are passing from here as a request DTO, we are getting that amount from here. And inside of this, what we are doing, we are just getting it and assigning it to the object. So first we have a payment link request, and then next we have a customer object where we are just pushing all the customer detail inside of this. We have deleted one object from here, that is this notification is not required now, so we remove this from there and we are using this nodes, this one, and we simply whatever node we have to put, we are putting it here. And after creating this, we are just assigning these nodes to our main payment link. So here you can see we first created all the property inside of the customer, and this customer object we have put inside of our payment link request. Okay, so this is the nested object. Same we are doing here also. So here we have created this and we assign all the value to it. Now we have to create one instance of the Razorpay client, and then we have this payment link which will give us the create method, and we will pass our object to it, and we will get this using the short URL. Okay, so where we will get it, Simply go there on the documentation and you can see this already he has given. So we are using the first thing which we are using. We are initiating this Razorpay client. For this Razorpay client, where it is here, you can see Razorpay client. The Razorpay client is coming from the Razorpay. So whatever dependency we have installed there, it is providing this Razorpay client. This Razorpay client, because this is the third party, as you can see here. Since Razorpay client is a third party library, we need to create a beans for it and create a config package in the same directory as the controller. Package in the config package. Create a class config beans and annotate it with the configurations. So here we have created this. So as you know, this is the third party and we are just doing the auto wiring it, and we cannot do direct auto wiring because Spring Boot do not know about this. For this we have to create a beans. To create a beans, what we will do, first we will create this package config inside of this payment gateway. Inside of this config we will create a one config beans, and inside of this we have a configurations. Okay, configuration annotation will tells this is also related to the configuration. So whenever Spring Boot loading, that time it will take as a configurations, and we have created one class, and here we have two things. First is the value Razor. First we have a value Razorpay.key and Razorpay secret. So what is this annotation? So we are using the value whenever we have to get these values from the environment variables. So it is the good practice whenever we have a secret keys and password, we will keep it in the environment variable, and we should not write it down hard coded here. So we keep in the environment variable, and for getting the value from the environment variable we will use like this at value, and we have this double quotes inside, we have this dollar sign and curly braces inside. We simply return the key of that environment variable. Same we have written here beans. So what it will do whenever we will load our our application, that time it will create a bean for this Razorpay client, and here we have written this method and it will returning this Razorpay client by passing key and secret, and it will return some exceptions. So we are handling here using the try case. Next, finally pass the payment link request to the Razorpay client payment.link.create method. Hold the result in the instance of payment link and return it the create method may throw exception. So simply this is the documentation where you can go there and you can check this method is provided there and what this method will do. So what it will do, it will simply take return you the generated link from the Razorpay client, and this Razorpay client, like this is the SDK which is we are getting from the dependency. Here I am using the local date object. It is coming from the Java 8. Now will provide you the current date, current timing, and then plus day 7. So whatever time is right now, it will add the 7 days inside of this, and we are using at the start of day, and we are taking the zone ID of the local, and we are converting into the seconds, and we are returning back to this. So whenever you are creating this, automatically dynamically creating your expiring date. And if you are not doing this, then I already explained there in the tutorial here in the top. You can go in this website, and whatever date you want, you can just put date there and it will convert and it will return back to you the date, and you can copy from there and paste it here. So I have written here the dynamic function. Next we have a reference ID. So we are using our order ID for the reference ID, and we have put description here. And next we have a get customer. So we are taking from the DTOs. I have put all the information, and here I have given the callback URL. So whatever callback URL you will put, that whenever you create the link and success the payment, that time it will return back to the that callback URL, and it will provide you the transaction ID and other required metadata related to the payment. So whenever we are using this, it will also throw the error, and we are handling here. Next add the environment variable for the key and secret to do this. So I have written all the steps here. Simply you just click here and here you can see edit configurations. Inside of the here you can see environment variable. Sometimes it will hidden. So what you can do, you just click on this modify option and you can select here. Okay, so it will show here. Click on this document button and click on this plus and just write it down whatever key required, and here you can put the value. After doing this, click on the OK and click here OK. So same we are getting using the add value. Next, update the payment controller. So for that, what we will do in the payment controller, create a new get API payment status and define a method get payment status. Okay. So simply copy this and paste it there inside of our payment controller. So here you just copy and paste this. So what it will simply get mapping, because as you can see we have a post mapping, here we have a get mapping because we are getting the status. And at the time of getting the status, we are accepting two parameters. First is param payment ID, and second we are using the order ID. Okay, and here in the payment services get payment status, and we are passing this both the things. I will tell you why this order ID is required here and why this payment ID is required in the next. Create a payment status enum in the method package. Create a enum. First we will create a one enum here in the model. First create this model package. Inside of this create this payment status enum and put the enum here. Update payment services. Create a new method public payment status get payment status. Copy this code and this one and paste it there. So here in the payment services we already written this first one, and in the second one we have here. Okay, so we just paste the code. I will explain everything here, don't worry. So this is the method called by the controller and is passing two things, payment ID and order ID here. So here what we will do, we will search in our repository. Okay, you can see here whenever we have created a link, that time what we will do, we have created like this one and generated a link, payment link, and here we save the payment in the repository. For that what we will created, we have created one repository package, and inside of this we have created one payment repository and extended by the JPA repository. And here we have created one method find by order ID. So you have to follow some convention like find by name, find by order, find by ID is common, but find by order ID is not a common. And you have to follow like this. If you have your field name in like 3 words, so every first character you have to make a big. So you have to follow this, and we are passing order ID here. It will return us the optional payment details. So what is the optional? I already explained before also. So optional, what it will do, it will give you the null if it is not present, and if it is present then it will give you the object. And in the payment services, so here what we are doing, we are creating an object of this payment details, and we are setting the payment link which we get it from here, and set order ID which already we get it here, and we are setting the payment. Simply whenever we have set all the values, then we are saving in the payment repository. This save is provided by the JPA, and we are returning the payment link from here. So whenever we are creating a link, that time we are saving the data inside of the database. So we are creating a record. And in the get payment status, what we are doing, we have written this find by order ID. We are passing the order ID, and it will return us the already existing data inside of the table, and we will check if it is the empty, then we will write it down the runtime exception payment not found. And if it is not empty, then what we will do, we will simply payment gateway dot get status and pass the payment ID order ID. So this payment gateway is the SDK where we are just writing one method and we are passing payment ID and order ID, and we are getting the status from there. Okay, so we will see in some time. Next, we are updating the data. Okay, so as you can see, we have created here the data, and same we get that object, and here payment detail dot get is a property which will give you this payment detail object from this optional. So it is assigning here, and we are setting the status whatever we are getting from this SDK using the get status. And here we have a payment response where we are setting the set payment ID, and this payment ID we are already getting from here, and it is passing from the controller, and controller getting from the browser or the request. And after doing this all changes, we are again calling this payment repository, saving the same object, so it will update the object and returning status from here. And we have a payment fetch method there which we are using here. So as you can see, I already here. So next, in the Razorpay, what we will do, we will write the implement the get status method. Okay, and for that what we have to do to implement the feature, refer to the Razorpay document fetching the payment detail. Just click on the payment link and get the fetch payment code. So this is the link which you can do, and here in the bottom you can see we have this payments. Click on this, and here we have a capture payment, fetch all payment, and we have a fetch a payment. Okay, so we will take this instance.payment.fetch, this one, and it will return this response. So just move to the Razorpay gateway. In the get status, we are accepting payment ID and order ID, and here we are just copy paste that one payment.fetch, and we are passing the payment ID to it. And instance, we have a Razorpay client which we have created as a bean, as we already explained before, and it will return us the payment object, that is the type of payment link. Then we will return this payment.get short URL. Okay, so as I told you, here it will return this complete big response, and inside you can see. So as you can see, we have this get status method, and we are just using this beans, and payment.fetch method we are passing the payment ID. It will return us the payment. Inside of the payment, what we are doing, we are just calling payment.get status. So it will return you the status, whatever status is there. Here we can see we have this all properties, and inside we can find it out the property name of the status. So it will return us the captured. It will return us. So as you can see, here we have a status, and it will return us the captured. So we will take it, and we are just writing the switch here. So this is the simple switch. Just I have written in the recommended way. So what we will do, case capture, and we just put the colon, and we will write it down the return. So instead of doing this, what we are doing, we are just using here the lambda function where we are passing the actual value captured, and we are returning the success from the payment status. So what is this payment status? This is the enum we have written inside of our model here in the payment status. You can see this. So we are returning it. If it is failed, then we are returning from there. If it is default, then we are returning from there. It also returns some exception, so we are just handling using the try catch. So normally whenever we have to test our application, or we have to run the API, so using the browser we can use the get API. If it is there, then we can use the browser and we can do it from there. But if it is the post, then we cannot test using the browser. For that we will use the Postman, and in the Postman we can do. But I will tell you the other way which you can directly do from this IntelliJ. So simply you can test your post, get any API, whatever you are doing from the Postman, you can do from here IntelliJ. So simply click here, right click, and create a new file. and just simply create a file, this one, and put your file name, whatever file name you want to put here, dot, you have to put the http. Okay, either you can put here dot rest. These two you can use, we will use the http. Okay, after creating this, you will get it here. You can see here test.http, and it will show you the icon API. Click on here. First you have to write like this, then you have to write post, this one, and then you can select whatever port is there, and then slash, and then you type simply, it will just show you all the APIs whatever you have created endpoints. Simply click here, and whatever you want to put it there. So here I already created, so I just explain from here. So first we are just using, because we are running on the 8082, and this is our endpoint payment link, and we are passing the order ID, and this order ID, so what it will do, it will create a link and it will return a link. So we will open that link in the browser, and whenever we will open that link, it will tells us the fill the payment, and we will fill the payment, and we will just put all the information related to the payment, and whenever we just click on the submit, then we will get the payment ID. We will take payment ID from there, and we will pass in this to get the status of the payment, and we will pass the order ID, and it will return us the success, and it will save the data inside of our database. So as you can see, our application is started in port 8082. Now we will run this and we will test this API. So as you can see, we pass order ID. It is a random order ID right now, and it will return us the generated link. So whenever you are clicking on this API, it will call the method create link, and that just pass that create link method call to the payment gateway, and payment gateway will return you the link based on this order ID. Now we will copy this, and we will go back to on our Chrome, and we will run this. As you can see, I just put that link on the Chrome and run it, and it will return us this form which we will fill, and we will make a payment, and then we will see the next process. So here it required the card details, so we are doing the testing, so we will use the test card from the same Razorpay website. So I will share this all the links to you. As you can see, we have a MasterCard, Visa card, these all are tests, so we just use this for testing purpose. So whenever you have created account and you are not filling your complete KYC, that is in the test mode, you can see there, and our account is also in test mode. So here I just paste, and expiry date you can put anything like 02/26 2026, and card holder name is Sanjay, and password you can put anything whatever you want. CVV, that is the 3 number. Okay, just keep in mind, always put the 3 number, any demo 3123 or any 456, any you can put it there. And here this one 26, sorry, this one. So this is the expiry date. Normally we use CVV in 3, and we just click here pay now, and pay without saving card, and you can see the process is going on. It will ask the OTP, because it will not send you any OTP, so simply write it down, any 4-digit number. Okay, not 3, not 5, 4-digit, because OTP always be a 4 most of the time. So click submit, and you can see payment successful. Now directed to our website geekysanjay.com, whatever we put there in the callback URL, and we will get the payment ID from there, and we will take that payment ID and we will call the next API which will give us the status of this payment. So now we have created the generate link. Whenever we have created a generate link, it created one one entry in our database that we can see right now. Then we will come back here, that we will here you can see We will open our database here, and here we will tell him to open the. So here simply we have our database. Here click on query console. So it will show the console. Type here use payment. Okay, and next you type here select star from payment details. This is our table name. So first select this and play it. So we have connected with the database, and then simply click here. So as you can see, in the status we have a null, in the ID we have a 1, order ID we already put, payment ID we do not have at the time of creating a link, and payment link we have, so we already put whenever we have created, we call that API. So these two things, whenever we do the next process, that time it will fill this status and payment ID. So here you can see, here we have a many, like if you remove this from here, so we have a many APIs. So it is very hard to find it out. Simply you type payment here, it will filter, and you can see this Razorpay underscore payment ID. Click on this. Here you can get the payment ID. This is required for the next process. So copy this and just simply close this. Go to our here and put it here the payment ID. First we have written H082 payment, get payment status, payment ID. Inside of the payment ID just put the latest payment ID here, and the order ID, whatever order ID we used here, use same here. Okay, now we will run this and we will see what we will get it. So we got a success, and we got one more file, JSON file, which it save all the response here. Whenever you click, you can see we have one more file here. And now we will see here in our console what data is filled. So here you just run it, and as you can see here we have and here we have a payment ID. Okay, so it put our payment ID, whatever we get, so it is already success, and we get this payment ID, and this payment ID we recently send it and save in the database whenever we are using the get status method. If you learn something from the video, please like, share and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. You also can visit my website geekysanjay.com for my written notes and so on. Thank you.